Good morning. We are extremely pleased that you are here. It is good to come together for the purpose of co-creation. Do you agree? You are knowing what you are wanting? You like that feeling of desire? Say yes. Well, you like it if you believe it, don't you? If you have something that you want and you can see a possibility of it happening, then focusing on this not yet manifested desire can be a very pleasing thing. You can plan and anticipate and look forward to it. But if you have been in a situation where you've wanted something for what you think is way too long and it hasn't come about yet, so you are doubting, then it doesn't feel so good to think about it, does it? And that really is the key to deliberate creation. For you to find a way to feel about the things that you desire good, to feel good even though they haven't yet manifested, to feel good about the idea of them, to feel good as you watch the progress of them, as your ideas about them turn to things that bring them about. That is the deliciousness of life. That's what the creative process is. There's this never-ending evolution from a vibration to a thought and a thought to a thing. That's why you're out here on the leading edge. You are powerful leading edge creators born into these bodies to have these wonderful experiences. And so when you understand how the process works and you have some reasonable control over the direction of your thought and therefore the direction of your vibration and therefore your own point of attraction, then life is really fun. And that is our desire for you. You get what you think about, whether what you're thinking about is something you want or whether what you're thinking about is something you don't want. Because when you think about it, and law of attraction then causes a sort of momentum about it, what happens is it actualizes, it manifests in your experience. And you can tell if you're paying attention to how you feel along the way. You can tell where you're headed if you're sensitive to your vibration. Sometimes you have experiences that you don't want that lead to clarification, and they cause you to ask deeper questions about what you do want. In other words, there is always contrast, and the contrast always serves you. And so when we talk to you about being deliberate creators, sometimes you think that what we're saying is you should never have a negative emotion, and that is not what we are ever saying to you. We like it when you are aware that you are not feeling good, because that indicates that you are adding resistance to your own point of attraction, preventing what you are wanting from coming into your experience. We really like it when you get good at focusing deliberately and good at feeling good most of the time. And then when something occurs that gets your attention and you feel that negative emotion because you can tell as it is coming up, whether it's come up often or whether it's something that's just new in your realization, you are aware that you don't want it and you don't like it and you have negative emotion. We really like it when you're there only briefly and you return to that understanding that contrast is necessary for expansion. And so therefore you're not trying to prevent contrast from your experience. If that were the case, you'd need to go hide out away from everybody, and then you'd be lonely, and that would be contrast too. And so you just can't get away from contrast because you were deliberately born into it in order to help you to identify more every day what you really want. And so we are enjoying explaining to you the laws of the universe. We like helping you to understand that you are vibration more than anything else. We want you to feel from us our appreciation of your willingness to be in these physical bodies and your willingness to be out here on the leading edge of creation. We also want to remind you that the reason that you want to be out here on the leading edge in this physical body is because this is the juicy part. This is the part where you get to witness good ideas turning into good things. It's nice to love someone. It's nice to feel the feeling of love. But isn't it even more wonderful to be with that person that you are loving and exchanging life experiences? It's nice to think about feelings of prosperity, but don't you really enjoy even more going to that place on the other side of the world that you've always wanted to see? Isn't it fun to take your own pictures of it and have your own experience in it rather than just thinking about what that might be? So manifestation matters. You came for manifestation. We want to help you to feel that the journey happens long before most of you realize that it is happening on your way to what you want. Recently, we had a wonderful conversation with a woman who explained to us that she wanted $100,000 because she wanted to travel. And her question to us and our subsequent discussion about it helped us to explain this in the best way that we've ever explained it to anyone. Because she was waiting for the manifestation of the $100,000 before she could begin her journey. In her mind, her journey would start then. And we wanted her to understand that her journey started long before that money manifested. That money manifesting was just part of the progression of what she is wanting. But the idea of travel came from feeling some boredom about not traveling. That idea of wanting to travel came from seeing wonderful things about others traveling. She had ideas and thoughts about traveling that she'd been putting into her vibrational reality, what we call her vortex of attraction, that place where everything that you want, in the moment that you realize that you want it even a little bit, which is often in the awareness of living the opposite of it. You know what you don't want, you know what you do want. And so this vortex, this non-physical, invisible, you can't see it or hear it or smell it or taste it or touch it, reality has been formulating, and it belongs to you, and it's all your stuff, and your inner being is in there, knowing it and being it and calling you to it. And so as this non-physical part of the journey is underway, often you're not even aware that it's underway. Oh, you knew you sort of kind of wanted something, but you have no idea what you have actually gathered and what law of attraction is enhanced and how big it is and how robust it is and how powerful it is and how accessible by you it is. And so this vibrational reality is growing and growing. It's all part of the journey. You're usually oblivious to it. And then one day, when you're not railing against something, when you're not doing that thing you do that prevents you from being in vibrational alignment with who you are, you get an idea and you think, oh, I would really like to do that. To you, it sometimes feels like that's when your journey began. Oh, I know I really want something. Well, a lot happened in the journey before you knew that. And now more is going to happen in the journey before the manifestation of the means to accomplish the journey. In other words, we know that you often see money as the means to doing and being and having the things that you want. But it's pretty far down along the journey before the money comes. There's so much that is happening before you allow that into your experience. And that's where you all usually get sidetracked. Because you want the money and you want it now so that you can get on with your journey. And we want it for you too. But we know that you've got to be in the vibrational vicinity of the dollars that you are wanting. We know that you've got to be living the dream even before the dream manifests in your experience. You have to feel prosperous before prosperity can come. You have to feel clarity before confusion can give way to clarity. And that's a thing that feels tricky to you. Esther said it to us many times. Abraham, you're telling me that I'm wanting clarity, but how do I get to clarity from confusion? And we say a little bit at a time. And when you are feeling most clear, that's when you're wanting to give your attention to the idea of clarity, not when you are feeling most confused. When you feel most prosperous, that's when you're wanting to give your attention to prosperity, not when you're feeling most buried by bills. When you are having a good time, that's when you want to give your most attention to how wonderful it is to have friends and how lovely it is to be having a wonderful interchange between them, not when you are feeling lonely. And so we want to help you to realize what your path of least resistance is, and how you can utilize the laws of the universe, specifically the law of attraction, and how you can utilize your guidance system, specifically the emotions within you, in order to live the life that you were born to live, but even more the life that you have figured out that you want to live as you've been moving along through it.